So you want to be a podcaster, right, guys? You want to be a podcaster? What's going on, everybody? Sons of Montezuma live. It is another episode. Thank you guys for joining the stream. It's Mateo San Diego. If you guys didn't know already, I'm an Aztec warrior. Joining me to my left. Thank you for joining me on the live stream broadcast the other day, Mike. What's going on? Of course, you guys know Fiend. We're just gonna jump right into this thing, guys. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Sons of Montezuma podcast, sonsofmontezuma.com. Check out all the articles and, of course, the NIL shop. How do you begin another episode after what we just witnessed the other night? Of course, San Diego State sports. That's all we do. And basketball. First off, I was so excited to have the broadcast stream. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for bringing your MC duties to it. Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun, man. That was a good time.
What a crazy game. What a crazy game. Of course, the Aztecs suffered the loss against Troy. But this episode is going to be primarily about the Players Era tournament. But, you know, we got to get this out of our system. Fiend, you were in the building. We heard the whistle all over the broadcast, dude.
Yeah.
All over the broadcast. It was absolutely ridiculous, but so awesome. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. I mean, all things considering, I mean, we shouldn't have taken that loss. But, yeah, right before, like, the last minute or so, you know, my seats are like nosebleeds, right? I went right down, like, by the basket, basically, almost to where Mike sits. Like, I mean, I just went right there, and I was – every time they shot a free throw, I was whistling. But, man, they're such great free throw shooters, man. Couldn't throw them off their game. I was just so impressed with Troy and how they handled all that crowd noise, even though a lot of people left. But, man, that was such a tough game, man. And those guys were dogs. They were dogs.
108 to 107 in double overtime, dude. We were broadcasting live, as we said. Thank you, everybody, for watching that one. I was technically there at Viejas, but I was outside the gym. There was a delay, so I was like, I can't go inside. I got to be on the stream. Mike was in Reno. Fiend was inside the building. And, yeah, everybody started pouring out, dude. Everybody started pouring out at just the under 4 minute mark, that official timeout. It was just like waves of people leaving. And I was like, oh, shoot. And then the stream caught up to it. I was like, yeah, I contemplated, like, maybe I should just walk and stream away from Viejas. But, you know, I couldn't leave Mike hanging like that. Incredible game, though, guys. Fiend, thank you for bringing the energy. Mike, thank you for staying up late. The Aztecs fall, but it's like, what do you guys say? I mean, like, we've seen the Mountain West take several of these embarrassing losses. This was one. I mean, can we smooth it out a little bit, guys? Is there a way of looking at the brighter? Was this not as bad as like Boise losing to D2 in Hawaii? I don't think it was that bad.
You want to go first, Mike?
Sure. I mean, listen, I was thinking what Dutch said. As a basketball fan, what a hell of a game. Exciting. It kind of had everything you wanted. As an Aztec fan, it sucked, right? Because they just couldn't pull away from them. You got, okay, you're like, okay, you got a 12-point run or 12-something run to end in the last 4 minutes to get tied. Miles hits that three to go into overtime. You have the momentum, and then they just couldn't pull away. And they had, you know, a couple silly turnovers, like that inbounding pass was just kind of ridiculous. It looks a little sloppy, but then you look at, they've only played 2 games, right? Magoon's first game, Magoon looked great, right? 20 points, 5 of 5 shooting. So you can say whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Like there was, you know, oh, this isn't going to help. This, you know what? Fuck, it happened. It happened. So what do you do from here? You know, that team is a team that is scrappy. It's shorter. And they just kind of shot really well. And then they kind of ran us ragged. And I think, you know, our height didn't really help us because they were good outside shooting and they shot really well. So it's like, what do you do? I don't think we're going to see a team like that if many times the rest of the season. You know, you go from them to who's a shorter team to Michigan, who might be the tallest team in the country. You know, that's 2 totally different games, right? Which I think is a little bit more in line with what is our team. You know, I think it's a little better matchup for us against Michigan. So, I mean, what do you do, man? You lost. then you got to figure it out from there. There's no, I mean, like it's like, you can't accept that loss. What do you mean you can't accept the loss? You lost.
Yeah.
What do you
I mean,
take from that? I don't know how to explain it.
You can't put a bow on it, but I mean, was it as bad as those other losses, like what Boise played? That I think that was the question, Mike. I think that was
No, yeah, well, yeah.
Did he cover anything in that answer? I don't know.
Like Fiend says, he's like,
let me.
He'll get back to the question. No, I don't think it's as bad as all those other teams. Troy is a pretty good team. They made the tournament last year, but like they also wanted to come in and San Diego State. That's a statement win for them. You know what I mean? That's like when we beat Houston, kind of ishy, right? So
okay. Fiend.
Yeah, he's still not answering the question. All right, let me go with it. All right, so let me put it on two levels. Okay, so analytically, from a KenPom standpoint, yes, it was worse than Boise State's loss to a Division II because it doesn't count on the KenPom.
Technicalities.
Right. It counts on their team sheet when it comes to March, right? It's going to look like a bad loss. But on KenPom level and for the rest of us, it doesn't hurt their metrics as much. Now, it wasn't as bad as, say, like the loss was at UNLV took a really bad loss. So several others, I can't remember offhand who they were, but we had a lot of bad losses in the Mountain West, right? Troy is a team that was 14th seed last year, made the tournament, right? They were 125 KenPom. Okay, I know it's drawing off a lot of last year, but they have a lot of continuity coming back this year, okay? And they're in a dogfight right now at USC. It's tied at halftime. And USC is KenPom 23 or something like that. So they're a good team. They're a really good team, and I talked about in the preview, they shoot really well. They shoot foul shots really well. They can spread you out. Everyone on that floor can hit threes, and they did. They made clutch shots. They went on the road in a hostile environment, and they played their nuts out. And they got the win, and we were so anyways, long story short, I'm rubbing off on it. I'm bringing it back. Okay. It wasn't as bad as a lot of the other Mountain West teams that lost. Okay.
I'll agree. Yeah. That's my spin to it. I mean, when you look at Troy, yeah, we sold them short. Okay, even in our article, even in our last pod, we were like, "This is a game we should win," and I stand behind that. I mean, that was a game we should have won. There was no excuse into losing. But when you have to look back and dissect everything, right? I agree with what you're saying, Fiend. A lot of continuity. These early games in the season, to your point, Mike, as well. We've only played 2 games. These are not excuses. These are just logical understandings of trying to make sense of it all, and that's a team that has a lot of cohesion, right? Fiend, you made a point that those are coaches' sons, those brothers, right? So like they're dialed in on their scheme, their identity, what they want to do, their target marks. They know each other, what they can and cannot do. They don't try to play outside of their abilities, I think, of their skill set and what their strategy is. The Aztecs, on the other hand, let's just face it, guys, a lot of talent. We've been clamoring about it all summer, but those pieces, Dutch has really got the toughest job, I think, that maybe he's had it here in his time as a head coach, because yeah, you got a ton of talent, but now how do you make it all fit? Whether it's psychologically, whether it's physically, strategically. I know there's a lot of people that were not happy with what we saw strategically out there. And that's going to be his challenge this year, right? Is which lineup do you go with at which time? And if you suffer any loss this season, there's always going to be those questions. Well, you should have played so-and-so at this time with these guys at this moment. And it's just going to be a headache if they don't figure it out. But it's game, how many? 2 games down. So that was the 3rd game. So I chop it up to that. You got a team that's really experienced, really good, who made the tournament, and us who they just don't have that experience playing together this year with Magoon in there, with the new pieces in there. Still no excuse.
I don't know if I 100% agree with that, just because they went 10 deep too, right? I mean, they showed their depth in this game as well. I think from what I saw was really a lack of IQ on the floor. There was some really bad mistakes that were being made by guys who have, some college experience. Like if they, LZ's different. He doesn't have the experience. I think he had like 6 turnovers or something like that. Okay, you chalk that up to being a freshman. But some of the other guys and some of the mistakes they made, I mean, they've had some college basketball now under their belt. Like, they should be showing a little better IQ on the floor. And then the other thing is just the scheme. Like some of the plays that we ran, the baseline out of bounds plays, like they were garbage. Just garbage, and so there's a lot that they have to work on there, both players and coaches.
Absolutely. There's enough to go around. There's enough to go around. I mean, players got to make plays, right? Mike, we were talking about that in the stream. It was like all the strategy, all that stuff is great, but at the end of the day, players got to step up and make plays. And they didn't make them. Bird made one. I mean, the teams, let's not sell them short as well. I mean, they were down big to start, came scratching and clawing back. They got down to what, 12 at that 4-minute mark or something like that, something crazy. And then Bird hits one of the greatest shots in Viejas history, but nobody's ever going to really remember it because it didn't end in a win. And that's just unfortunate. But it is what it is. You got to play both overtimes. Fiend, was that a foul to end the game on that third 3-point shot from Sean Newman? Do you think the refs just wanted to like, okay, eat the whistle, let's get out of here, let's go home, sleep?
It was absolutely a foul. And Dutcher could have challenged it if he had had a timeout. But he burned his timeout earlier in the period, and I was like, why are you calling this timeout? We might need this timeout. And guess what? We did need the timeout. He could have challenged that, and they could have called a foul on that and given us 3 free throws. But we didn't have a challenge to contest that, and so the game was over. And so that's where, again, both players and coaches got to show better IQ out there, in the way that they're playing the game and coaching the game.
Like for me, like with all that is, it's easy to second guess or hindsight's 2020, right? But this is going to be interesting to see how he does this because he's usually plays 9 guys. He can do 10 now, if not 11, theoretically. That's why Latrell, I think, is redshirting because how do you fit him in? Tay didn't play a lot of minutes, so it's kind of I linked it to kind of like if you draft well in fantasy football, you kind of have too many options. Say you have like 4 or 5 different good receivers, but you can only play 3. How do you pick the certain guys and then you pick them wrong? And like with the timeout thing, I get that, but like you can't it's like you make the best decision on the information you have at hand. You can't really worry about what's going to happen next because you're in the moment now, right? So yeah, you could have used a timeout, but he used it for a reason he needed. And it's like, okay, it shouldn't have come down to that at the end of the day, right? We came back from 12 down. If he hits that 3, that's a momentum swing where you should have said, hey guys, we make a couple baskets here and get a stop, then we're going to be rolling. But they just, like you said, it's 3 games. They haven't really played together. It's just kind of silly mistakes, but let's see how they react to this and go forward because you have a lot of basketball left. You have 29 games left, not including the Mountain West tournament, right? So it's not great, but like you said, it's not like football where you lose 1 to XYZ and you're done. You know what I mean? So it's it's interesting. Everybody's like, well, they should have done this. We should have done that. We should have done, whatever, dude. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd have what a lovely Christmas we'd all have, right? So like, look it up. Monday Night Football. That's old school. That's probably your era, Feed. But like, let's all calm down. It's going to happen once in a while. It just happened to happen then. Great basketball game. Sucked the way to end it, but that was exciting ball, man. But and we just made silly mistakes and we still almost won. So it's like, tranquilo. Let's go on to the next game.
I don't want to calm down, but we are going to have to calm down.
What do you do? You can't do anything about it. The past is the past.
Yeah. You got to move on.
Yesterday's history. Yeah, yesterday's history. Tomorrow's a mystery.
My hope is that, okay, they woke up from the slumber, right? Because they kind of sleptwalked through these first 3 games. And then they got hit in the mouth by Troy and the realization that we're playing in the players era and you need to make some noise there because the chances for, some quality wins in the Mountain West are not going to be there. And so I hope it woke them up, and I think it will. I think they'll play better at the players era. Let's not discount too Reese Waters being sick, man. He was out. I think Heidi was out too, missed some practices. It's tough coming back from the flu. So, I expect a much better game in Vegas, much better play from Reese Davis, and so not to make excuses, but it's tough when you're coming back from the flu.
It's Reese Dixon Waters. It's not Reese Davis. Reese Davis.
I mean, excuse me, take some waters. My bad.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, we do gotta put it in the past. Gotta put it in the rearview mirror, guys. Even though it was frustrating, it was tough. But hey, for a first stream, it was very exciting. I hope you guys all enjoyed watching the full game on our YouTube channel. Hopefully, we'll get to be able to do that again because there's going to be plenty opportunities this season. The Mountain West Creator Sports Network. Thank you guys for all their help and allowing us to do that, and then kind of guiding us through to do that. So hopefully we'll improve as well, just like the basketball team, right? It's early. We've got plenty more games
it was awesome
to improve.
So I'll be excited when all three of us are on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Well, not at the game because it was tough because it was loud.
You guys will let me in.
Shout out to Justin. Shout out to Chino. They were helping us on the back end, and
great work, guys.
Don't forget me next time, Justin.
There were some technical issues with that, but we'll get that ironed out, right? Just
I think it was the dancing. That caused.
Something like that. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's get this over with real quick. If you guys are not taking advantage of sonsofmontezuma.com, our online shop is open for business. Of course, you guys know the hat deal, 2 t-shirts, and you get 2 hats and you get 1 t-shirt for free. Of course, 15% off using the promo code MONTY at checkout. All of our gear, get these nice little chucks and flip-flops and even socks. Keep your feet warm, even though it's really cold outside right now and rainy. Kind of like my soul right now, but it's okay. Guys, sonsofmontezuma.com, that's your one-stop shop for holiday season gifts and all that good stuff. Thank you very much. We appreciate your support. Okay, this weekend is a big football game, senior night. Hope to see you all down there at the Snappy. We will be there tailgating. Yellow lot, come by and say hello. But then after that, we're heading to Vegas, right, Fiend? I know we will be there. I know Andy's going to be there. Wish Mike was down there, but it's all good. He's doing his thing. But the Players Era Festival, the NIL tournament, is going down next week, Feast Week. Big opportunities. Coming off of this disappointing loss against Troy, the Aztecs are making their return trip in this festival, and these are the opportunities. This is going to be crucial to not only win but perform for the team's sake, long-term record rankings, all that good stuff, well into March. Last year our performance was 2 wins and 1 loss. They beat Creighton, lost to Oregon, and then beat Houston, who ended up in the Natty, right? So that was what we hung our hat on as far as rankings, and it paid off in March. So this year is a similar opportunity. We have a big chance for the team to make up some ground for this loss. Not going to be as easy, I think, as last year. Creighton, we got their number now. It feels like we really have a control on them, but we're not playing them. We got Michigan to open up the thing, and that's going to be an interesting matchup. But if you guys are going to make your way down to Vegas, let us know. It's going to be a lot of fun. Well, okay, Mike, you're not going to be there in Vegas, but what are you most excited for before we dissect Michigan and Oregon?
I'm just excited to see how this team rebounds, or I guess rebounds from the last game. How are they going to come out? How are they going to get? They get obviously extra practice this week. Dutch and Dave and them and JD are going to put them through the ringer and get them ready for Michigan. But this is going to be an interesting matchup. It's always fun in Vegas. We always play well in Vegas. We always travel well in Vegas. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out and play, man. Because that's, as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
Fiend, you're going to be there in attendance. What are you most excited about after seeing it last year? Because we were there last year as well. Last year was at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. This year, our team is playing at the Mandalay Bay, the Michelob Ultra Arena, which is really cool. You guys can see the lineup there of all the teams participating. And we have the next to last game both nights right before UNLV. It's kind of cool the way they structure both days too, where everybody's playing at the same time slot as before. I think they really divvied up the teams according to their region where they're coming from. So obviously, us as West Coasters and UNLV, we get the later matchups. I don't know if that's going to hurt Michigan. Maybe I don't know. What are you excited about?
I'm excited to see how they follow up last year's performance. I mean, going 2-1 and starting off with number 7 Michigan. I'm just really excited. I'm interested to see what their record's going to be. Because I mean, I could see them go. I don't know if they'll go 3-0, but I could see them go 2-1. I could also see them go 0-3 if they play the way that they've been playing. So we'll see which team we're going to get in Vegas. I expect they'll be better. I think they'll be up for it. They always play up to the challenge. They did last year, and I believe that they will do the same this year.
I agree too. I think when you play a Big Ten team like Michigan, there's a lot of storylines there. Of course, Dutcher going back to his days with the Fab Five. That's always just going to be a legendary storyline when it comes to the connection of these two universities. So Michigan's first, right? That's the first one. Monday night, November 24th, the beginning of Feast Week. And I think, what does that say? Tip-off is going to be at 7:30 Pacific time. I don't know why it says AM down there. They messed up. That's a typo. But 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Mike, you got Michigan, right? You got a couple things on Michigan. When I think about Michigan, the first thing that jumps out to me is their head coach, Dusty May, the previous head coach at FAU when we were in the Final Four.
I mean, they're tall, they're very good. They crash the boards. They rebound very well. They play defense. It's kind of like listening to us about us, But yeah, you got Dusty May at FAU who's got experience against Dutch, right? But Dutch has experience against him. You also got Elliot Cadeau who came over from North Carolina, who played against us last year in the first four. So there's some familiarity there too, right? So and then you got Dutch with Michigan connection, but I mean they're a very good basketball team. The size, the speed, they like to get out and run. They like to crash the boards. They're going to rebound the ball well. They got really tall guys, which, after you take Magoon out, Majak isn't played so much. I think he's going to get a little bit more playing time this game just because the matchup, shows it. But they're good. The kid that I think transferred from Wake Forest, I believe is what it was. Is really good, man. He's going to be really good. And Mara is a very, very good player. Like they're predicting him to be one of the best players in the country. So we have our hands full, man. Like this is going to be interesting because two teams who rebound and play defense, but they want to kind of get into. I think they want to run it more than they want to play half court offense with us. They want to kind of get us in a half court, So it's going to be an interesting matchup, but I think this kind of is a little bit better of a matchup than us because of the height, and it's going to be interesting to see how they go up against a Michigan team like that. But there's some familiarity there on both sides, so hopefully we can take advantage of that more than they can take advantage of us.
Dame Mara.
Yeah.
So he played at UCLA. I mean, tall guy, more of like a finesse center. But he's tall. He's he can block shots, contest at the rim, and then Yaxel Lendeborg, obviously was the guy we played against at UAB. I mean, I think we recruited him out of Arizona Western, and just those battles with Ladie that he had, a couple of years ago. They got some size there, and that's gonna be a problem. And then Roddy Gale, the guard that came over from Ohio State, I think he played at Michigan. Again, a lot of continuity back for that team. They're gonna be good. They're gonna be really, really tough. 7th ranked team in the country. It's a challenge right off the bat.
Yeah, this is Miles Heide and Farrell Compton are gonna have to play really well. I think those are two guys that are gonna have. I mean, they're gonna have to. Everybody's gonna have to play well, right? But those two guys are gonna be very important. because Goon's going to do what he does, but they have the bodies to match up with Magoon, where not a lot of other teams do.
Does Majok get any run to handle that big dude?
I think you have to. He's going to have to,
Foul trouble.
right? Yeah, I mean, I think he's got to have to play.
I mean, you got maybe throw some minutes just to just to body up a little bit. I would think. I mean, who else would cover? Is Heidi? I mean, Heidi can body up, but I mean that's such a difference.
Yeah, I mean they got 3 guys over 7 feet, right? I mean they're tall. Like really, I think this might be the tallest roster in the country. They have 7'3", 7'2", yeah, 2 guys. But what's it? That's strange because they have a 7'2" guy and a 7'3" guy, and the next closest guy for that is 6'9". Huh. So I think yeah, fouls matchups are going to dictate who plays here. You know what I mean? But if we can get Sean Newman going, I think he's going to be that's going to be the X factor, because if he can get going and get comfortable and have his assists like he did back where he was at Louisiana Tech, that I think that changes the game. And we got to get outrun. I think if we go in a half court, man, we might be in a little bit of trouble there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how confident I can feel about this game after Troy. I really can't. I mean, it's a completely different style, but regardless.
Well, that's the interesting thing, because remember last year we got beat by Oregon, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, here we go," and then they come out and put their foot down in Houston. So this team is interesting. Like Ziegler said, the best thing about this team is we have 8 guys coming back. The worst thing about this team is we have 8 guys coming back. With the same mentality of like, put your foot on their throat, man. Let's go. So that's the thing that was interesting that Andy pointed out today, is like, after you read the article, is like, the good thing is you have 8 guys coming back. The bad thing is it's the 8 guys from last year outside of, Reese, that it didn't, the last 2 games have shown that it has that worn off, where you get beat by Troy, and I mean, one of the great games I think ever at Viejas, to be honest with you. But then Idaho State, you didn't, you beat them by 16. Well, you should have probably beat them by a little bit more. Now we're getting nitpicky and stuff like that. But like game 4, it's still early in the season. You got Michigan and Oregon, and then X, whoever that's going to be. This is we're going to see what this team, the stick-to-itiveness of this team is right here. And they're still going to win 20 games, right? I think. But like this is kind of uncharted territory for us as fans, losing one at home before conference play. It's not like a Gonzaga or a Arizona or Kansas or something like that. So, we don't have enough data samples on this team to know really what we're going to get.
We'll find out soon.
Yeah.
It feels like, okay, however you perform against Michigan, then the next night you got Oregon. Now, it's kind of a similar thing with Nate Biddle, right? Of course, he's not 7'3".
Fiend's guy. Where's his dad? Your guy.
That's Fiend's guy.
Yeah, no, I was hanging out with his dad last year. There, we were heckling him, Nate Biddle, because he's got a bald spot in the back of his head. So we were heckling him when he was at the free throw line, and his dad had some fun with us when they beat us, and it was cool. It was a good interaction with them. I'm actually looking forward to seeing them again. Oregon, very similar team to last year, kind of came in under the radar, and I don't think anyone expected them to win the tournament. And, they beat Alabama in a big championship game last year. Same thing this year. They're undefeated, but they've had some close calls against Hawaii, against Rice. I mean, not great teams. Kind of struggled, like we have, but they didn't stumble. They're still undefeated. The personnel, a lot of continuity back. You've got Biddle in the middle. He's their big guy. Then you got Jackson Shelstead, who's a point guard, great point guard. And then you had last year, Kwame Brown. He's another one that's coming back. He's like 6'10" or 6'11", I think, or maybe 7. I don't know. He's really tall. So they've got some length on that team. They are losing. They lost TJ Bamba, who really cooked us last year, if you remember correctly. Like he really was a big problem for us. But they've got a transfer from Elon who's pretty good. Takai Simpkins, And so they just kind of plugged holes. They brought back a lot of the good players and plugged holes. They're going to be a tough team, tough matchup for us.
Thank you guys
Yeah.
for correcting me on the Goldine on Michigan. I think on Oregon it's Kwame Evans, right?
It is Kwame. I'm sorry. Yeah, Kwame Evans. Yeah.
Evans.
What did I say?
He,
Kwame Brown?
Tommy Brown.
yeah.
Not the
All
Lakers
good.
guy.
Kwame Evans Jr. Yeah, yeah.
The one Jordan, drafted
That's
with the
right.
Wizards,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All good. Yeah, he's somebody that popped up in my research as well, as far as being like kind of like an X factor, just because he plays so well with Biddle, kind of like taking that pressure off, being the big dude, but he can get in there, and that's going to be another difficult 1-2 for our guys. I mean, our bigs are going to have to really, really, really perform, man. And I mean, Farrell only getting 10 minutes last game. That was kind of tough to see. But then, these 2 games are really going to give these guys an opportunity to go big. I mean, maybe we really, really go big with Goon at the 3, right? Reese and Bird. I mean, I don't know how you're going to mix up these lineups. I mean, we talked about it with Dutcher in the lineups. It's like, how do you do that?
You can't really compare Pharaoh to in the Troy game to what's going to happen in this game, because totally different personnel, right?
Yeah.
Troy was 5 out. They just pull you all out. Pharaoh's probably not your best big guy that can defend on the perimeter, right? So with bigger guys that are more close to the basket, I think he's going to be utilized more. And so I think his defense in the last game was kind of a liability, and that's why Dutcher, took him out. But it's going to be a totally different game. You don't have – they were smaller, Troy, right? But they could shoot, and they could all shoot from the outside. And so that was a matchup problem, I think, for Pharaoh, which it won't be as bad of a matchup problem for him in the Players Era tournament.
Yeah. Same thing with Tay. Tay only had 5 minutes. I expect him to – I mean, he's a big dude, man. Like, for a freshman, he's a big dude. So I think he's going to get screwed. I mean, Reese played 43 minutes last game. That's a lot of minutes. Miles played 37. Obviously, Maguna only played 28, but we needed him. So this is a totally different game. This is a totally different game coming up for the next 2. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, hey, it's Vegas. It's San Diego State basketball. We all know we play well there. We got the whistle in the house. We got Mateo and Andy. I'm sure there's some characters out there. So why not, man? Like every year we kind of go in this thing, and it's we Gonzaga back in 2010-11. We have these games where we don't really come off of a bad loss like that, even if you want to call it a bad loss. But hopefully that is a character building loss, and I think these guys are going to step up. I mean, it's like, hey man, 1 game does not make a bad season, but now it puts a little bit more pressure of you if you got to play, because then you also have Arizona coming up, man, and they're really good. So these games are going to really, really help us now and in the future.
Nick in the chat says, SDSU canonically plays up and down to their competition, so they'll keep it close and maybe eke out 2 in Vegas. I agree with that. Like, I don't think these games are it's a game of runs, right? So one may get up, one may get down, but I think that adrenaline starts kicking in. And let's be honest, guys, this is for NIL money. There's a big prize at the end of the pot. At the end of the rainbow, there's a big pot there. So this is another opportunity to actually earn a lot of dollars, for yourself, for your program. So I think that competitive, juices start to you ante up the pot a little bit, and then you start seeing what shakes down in those pressure situations. So I agree. I think they'll keep it close, and if they can keep it close, anything can happen, man. Anything can happen, as we saw with Bird and the shot. T-Mac, what is up? Thank you for fighting the good fight in the live stream the other night. I definitely took note of that. He says, good evening. I'm expecting the team to come out hungry. Farrell will be a beast on the low post. I think Troy was a wake-up call, just like the Arkansas game was in the 22-23 season. And man, it's crazy to draw back on that situation. That was the Maui Invitational, right? And man, everybody was heated after those losses. How could you do this? How the mistakes, letting your guard down, letting little muscle men show you up, and how embarrassing, and all these type of different things. And that team had the mental fortitude. They got it together, worked hard, and went all the way to the Natty. So hey, there was magic moments in that Troy loss with Bird shot, with Magoon coming back and really performing well in his first game back. We thought he was going to be out of shape, and he looked fantastic. So I agree. They're gonna play big.
Yeah. Each guy's got to take advantage of the minutes he's given and make the most of them. It'll yeah. I don't like we said. Play well, play hard.
One thing I do hope they do is what T Mac is saying Farrell's going to be a beast in the low post. You can't allow opponent's size to deter you from actually playing in the low post and getting those opportunities. You got to attack these big guys. A lot of times you see the height, and it makes you want to push out and shoot those long range shots, but you really got to take it into the paint. You got to take it strong, play the aggressor, and obviously get them in foul trouble. But I agree with that. I hope that they actually do go to the low post a little bit more. That's something I don't think we did against Troy when we had the obvious advantage, instead of settling for ill-advised jumpers and all that good stuff.
I agree with you. With Troy, we should have gone to the low post more and tried to pound it inside. You look at the shooting percentages for our bigs, and they were pretty high compared to the guards. The guards did not shoot the ball well at all. In this game, I think Michigan got Lendeborg and Mara for a reason, and that's to protect the rim. And so I think it's going to be very difficult to get points at the rim. I think you're better off trying to pull those guys out on the perimeter. I think Farrow does a pretty good job of operating when he's at like the elbow, coming off of pick and rolls and stuff like that. And he's shown that he can shoot from the outside. All our bigs are showing that they can shoot a little better from the outside. I'm not sure that Miles Heidi has, really the range out to the 3-point line, but I think Farrow, his range has gotten better, and obviously we know what Goon can do. So I would like to see us with the size that we're playing at try to get these teams, big guys, away from the basket. That would be my strategy.
So tough when you got so many of them, right? You pull one out, I mean, two more right there. But definitely attack the basket. Yeah, T-Mac. It's more of an attack mindset. You can't be scared to attack the basket. Maybe not so much like isolation down on the block, right? I mean, I don't think we have any of those low post players necessarily like that, but you definitely have to attack them.
Yeah, big men tend to not be able to move their feet as fast, and so you pull them out and then attack them. Don't attack them while they're under the basket. And so I'm not saying that you don't attack, just you got to pull them out first.
Oh man, they got their job cut out for them. Definitely got their job cut out for them. Well, guys, if you're gonna be there in Vegas, definitely say hello. Looking forward to connecting with a lot of Aztec Nation out there. We got to get back in the win column, and it's going to be a tough opportunity to make that happen. These two games, if they do make that happen with 2 victories or at least one, it's a point differential system, right? So you actually have to win the games in this festival, in this tournament type festival. You got to win the games, but then amongst those winners, it's a point differential. So you don't just have to win. You got to win big as possible. Put up as much points as possible to advance to that third consolation game or that first place, for the pot game. It's gonna be tricky, man. Putting up over 100 points in a double OT at home, that's something that we haven't done. And the fact that we lost it, right, that's even crazier. But that's something we haven't done. And so to put up many points against these two teams, it's another tall order, man. It's another challenge to add to why didn't we play maybe some of these other teams. But who do you guys think will play if we do advance?
I have no idea. There's so many teams in this tournament. I mean,
Take a guess.
I would love to play like a Kansas or
Amazing.
Gonzaga's #1 in the country. Tennessee would be interesting just because our styles are kind of similar. I think that would be an interesting matchup. Alabama would be a great rematch from the Sweet 16. Yeah, so I don't know, but whoever we play, I mean, it's going to be a good team. As long as it's not UNLV. Like, I don't want to play UNLV.
How funny would that be?
That would suck. That would suck if we played them third game.
I'd be interested selfishly to play Rutgers just because I want to see, because they've had such great recruiting classes the last couple of years. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like, there's so many wild things can happen in that. There's so many teams that you who knows, right? But like my thought process here, just try and get a win against Michigan. I don't think you're going to blow Michigan out, but I think you have not saying that you will, but I think you have a better shot at putting up more points against Oregon than you do Michigan.
You don't want to play Auburn in that third game, Fiend? You don't want to play Auburn, right?
We can't play Auburn in the third game.
No, we can't. Dang it. Who's our boy that's
Why?
out there? Quincy.
Quinn.
That'd have been
He's
cool.
going to be there. He's going to be there.
That'd have been cool.
Yeah.
Why can't we play them?
Because they're like in the same module or whatever. I mean, and there's crossover. Yeah, so we won't play them. We don't play a third team in our like little module. There's 4 teams, and you only play.
Oh, I got you.
Them, so we won't play them. Yeah.
So Gonzaga's #1. Do you guys think that you think U of A is going to take that spot pretty soon?
Yeah, I mean they're really good. Say hi. Say go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.
That's right. We need all the Go Aztecs we can take.
You think we're going to beat Michigan on Monday?
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah,
We will take that and run with it all the way to Vegas. Take those good wishes all the way to Vegas. Guys, we hope to see you out there.
Yeah.
I think these 2 games are going to be a big challenge, but hopefully the guys are up for it. And then we got U of A coming up soon. Maybe they'll be #1 by the time we play them. I don't know. We'll see.
I would think they probably will be #1 when we play them. Honestly, they're just. I mean, I watched them play, and that one kid, I can't remember his name, the recruit. That he looks ridiculous. They just look really, really good. They look tough. So, but that's a problem for another day. We get feast week, Thanksgiving week. You got Aztecs versus Michigan Monday. You got SDFC playoff game Monday. I mean, that's I'm excited about that, man. That's going to be a good Monday. And you know what? I'm gonna call right here. We're gonna get 2 wins that day. We're gonna beat Michigan and we're gonna beat Minnesota in soccer. And you know what? We're gonna hear Fiend's whistle. They should pipe in Fiend's whistle at that soccer game. I think I'm gonna get a recording of it, and when I go to any game, I'm just gonna play it.
Wasn't very effective against Troy, I'll say that.
Keep it going. Well, guys, we're thankful you guys checked out tonight's live. Just a little preview of the Players Era Festival. We're gonna have plenty more when we are there in Vegas. Hopefully, be able to kind of recap some of the sights and sounds of what we saw. And man, it's gonna be fun. Get prepared. Rest up. Anything else you guys want to add tonight? I know Aztec football this weekend. You guys, make sure you guys go check out our preview article and our last episode talking about San Jose State and the what we chopped that episode up to the circle of suck. In the
circle, yeah, it's actually the circle of sicko, but yeah, I like the circle of sicko.
Are they going to wear throwback jerseys, or is it just a throwback where everything's cheaper?
Good
George Jones is the honorary
warrior.
Yeah, like he was a beast. I remember. I mean, he's a beast, dude.
He played with a broken jaw, dude. They wired his jaw shut, and he still went out there and played. Like, it's ridiculous.
I remember
that was awesome.
I remember I was a ball boy during training camp one year, and he was there, and he was just, I mean, he was built like a brick shit house, man. But he was like the nicest guy in the world. You know what I mean? Like he was unbelievable. I mean, we had, but many moons ago. But hey, we're back. Get a win Monday. Get a win Saturday. Get a win Monday, and then, let's go.
Well, it looks like USC is kind of pulling away from Troy as we get later into the night, but it's still a lot of time. Still a lot of time. All right, guys, thank you for joining tonight. A little quick hitter. We'll see you guys in Vegas for all you making the trip. Say what's up. Until then, sonsofmontezuma.com. Go Aztecs. Let's go, guys.
Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.